how we can first recognize the pattern. So in our life, when we celebrate, let's remind ourselves of that. Any day, when we celebrate, look at what you're celebrating and see what is the pattern that caused that celebration, right? Recognize that. How can I have more of that in my life? How can I have more beautiful moments that I really feel grateful for whatever is happening in my life, right? Because again, as a reminder on what Rabia just said, our self-worth, our worth is not in anybody else's hand and what they do and what happens to us. It's there. We're worthy the way we are already. So when we are worthy, when we are enough, when we are loved from ourselves even, what are the other things that we see, like everything that happens, how can I look at them and understand and recognize the patterns that are happening there, and how can I utilize the same patterns in other places in my life that I may feel frustrated, sad, mad, angry, tired, pissed, all the negative feelings. How can I bring that pattern to this situation and use it in this situation to change it? Because what we feel is actually related to what we focus on, right? Focus equals feelings. So we can change our focus. How can we change our focus? By giving things a new meaning. You just saw that, like in your celebrations, a lot of you did that, right? You change the meaning you give to stuff, and all of a sudden you feel different. So how can I bring that control of the meaning that I want to give to stuff to situations that are maybe not feeling that good, making you feel frustrated, all the negative feelings. Like, how can I bring control, right, to this situation? And that control is always on the meaning that we give to stuff. So change the meaning, you will change your life. And then the third step is creating your new patterns. Okay, so if I want to live this way, if I want to always live in alignment and just with this good feeling, how can I create it in other aspects of my life, into my day-to-day activities, things that I do every day? How can I make those feel this way? How can I recognize them, utilize them, and then create them? You want to recreate new patterns. Okay, so in order to do that, you need to be able to measure. You have to sit and really see what happens that is not 100% fantastic. Okay, I'm going to write that situation down. How can I make it 100% fantastic? Because it's your choice. It's not what other people think. It's not what other people say. It's not like what is like social norms. What are the standards and rules and things that other people say? Because this is your life. So you get to choose what meaning to give to stuff. You get to choose what rules you want to have. And and I loved this from my last date with Destiny. Something that Tony shares is like, don't make good stuff hard. In order not to make it hard, you have to change the rules. Sometimes we say, in order for me, for example, to feel happy, I have to get everything done. My work should be all organized and clean. My kids need to be perfect kids. Like they have to do everything. I have to have food ready. I have to exercise. I have to do my meditation. I have to feel in alignment, and I have to do networking and make this much money. And yes, then I will be happy. Yeah, you make it so hard that it becomes impossible to feel happy. Instead, you can say, so these are seriously like what I changed. For example, in order for me to feel happy, I have to be able to pause. for a second. Or anytime that I remember I want to be happy, I'm happy. Or it's not the end. You realize this. Or anytime I see happiness in anybody else's face. Or anytime that I do anything that just feels good. Or anytime that I remember to breathe. Or anytime that I just look and appreciate things that are happening or things that I have, right? So you put or instead of and then you make it simple. Like anytime I remember to breathe, I seriously have to appreciate that because sometimes I forget. Especially when I'm exercising, I'm like, oh, I have to breathe. Okay. So make it easy for yourself. Who told us that our happiness needs to be, after all of these things are perfectly in place? Because it's not going to happen. People want to enjoy, having their own business when they have time and they're making money and they don't have any bad clients and nobody cancels and leads are coming and sales are coming. Yeah, you're not going to be happy ever. Because if you have more clients, definitely some of them are going to cancel or finish the process or whatever. Some people are going to not be happy. And it's not you. It doesn't mean that it's you. Your happiness, your fulfillment, uh, all the good feelings that you feel shouldn't be tied to anybody else's rules or opinions, right? It should be up to you. And you get to choose, and you get to choose the meaning you want to give to stuff. So even something that looks bad, like getting a no or a client canceling, that might be the perfect thing, that best thing that happened for you. So it's just a room. I think this is a good reminder for all of us to see what we can change, what meaning we can change, or what easy rules we can define for ourselves to feel what we want to feel. Happiness, fulfillment, all the good things that we all want to feel, loved, all of those things. So I would say, since this today was magical, I think like the shares just became super I don't know, impactful. So I guess let's do this exercise. Think about one thing that you like to change, what one feeling that you have that's not positive and you want to change it. Think about it, write it down. Let's do that. Write one thing that's not, the best. That's not what you want to feel. So Hedy said, I'm not disciplined, always behind on my task. I feel inefficient and incompetent, and I want to feel successful, on top of the world. Okay. And what should happen? What must happen for you to feel successful and on top of the world? Hedy said, get bigger projects and go through them with success. Okay. So Hedy, if you get, or just say the bottom line, make a lot of money. Okay, make a lot of money. This is it, right? So you just said basically you want to make more money, and in order to make money, you have to get bigger projects and go through them with success. And I want to see, if you get bigger projects, more and bigger projects, do you think you will be more behind on your tasks or more on top of your tasks? I want to believe I will have motivation to stay on task if I get them. Okay, so sometimes we try to escape from what we set as rules. So I want to feel successful, and successful means that I'm making money. And in order to make money, I have to get more projects. Okay, so success, feeling good, and all of that comes from this. On the other hand, I feel like, I'm always behind. What does it mean? Two things. One, One is the strategies, like really learning how to, plan everything, organize everything. One is that, and the other one is the feeling side of it. Because if you feel good, you're gonna be more active and get things done, right? You're gonna have more motivation to get things done. But if you don't feel good, you, instead of working on the projects, you just sit and have your coffee and maybe answer the questions that people are asking you on Instagram and Telegram, and just work on the projects that are not even making you money, right? You put your focus somewhere else. So, but if you are your best self, you're gonna put your focus on the things that you know that you need to focus on, and those things are the ones that are making you money. Is that right? Yes. So basically, most of it, 80%, that's why 80% is psychology. 80% is your mindset. 80% is who are you showing up with to your work, right? Am I showing up as, yeah, I'm not just organized, and I'm an artist, and artists are like this, and you know what? I love to wait until last minute, then I get everything done, right? So this is the identity you take to work every day, to your computer, to your daily, like you wake up with that identity, or no, you get up, you decide, okay, I'm I'm actually very organized. And guys, it's seriously a decision. Like you decide and you start acting as if I am already disciplined. So, and then you build the muscle. So, one of the things I learned this, like, I think when I was a teenager, I started this kind of course on how to improve your memory, something like that. And the first thing is actually to tell yourself that I actually have a really good memory, which is crazy. I was like, oh, and then you start paying attention and you see people saying, oh yeah, I don't remember names. Don't say that. You're not gonna remember it. I remember once I actually, this was here, so this was like about 10 years ago in a company. I was like, you know what? I'm really good with names. It's hard for me as an immigrant coming to another country that names are different. Like, so in Iran, we have names that are common and you remember. You come to the US, is like, okay, this person is William, you have to call them Bill. This person is, I don't know, Richard, you have to call them Dick. Like they change the names. Like why? Why William is not Will? Why it's Bill? Like they change the names, and then you have to practice on how to say Kristen, Christine, like Christy, like so many names that are hard to me. Okay. But I was like, you know what? I'm really good with names. I memorized 80 names in one day. I was impressed by my memory, but it was just me telling myself that I remember, and everybody who I saw, I connected their names to something I saw, in their face, or I don't know, in their office. So first thing starts by like telling yourself uh, what you want to be, as if you already are that person, right? So I'm a disciplined person. I was a kid when I started telling myself, I'm not gonna lie. So like that was another thing, that whenever I lied, I was like, oh no, I just lied. I was just calling myself, be like, oh, I'm kidding, I just lied, and then I will fix it. And so that made me this person that actually liars are like, lying is my red line. It's just non-negotiable, right? So you decide. Being organized, that's another thing I decided one day, because like my mom used to always tell me, oh, like clean your room, do this, do that, do that. And I always did, but I couldn't tell, because you always feel you're not clean enough when your mom constantly tells you to clean your house, like room, right? But I was like, I'm actually very organized. Like I always do that. So own it. You know what I'm saying? I'm making these examples from childhood because I think it might be more common between everybody. So pick what you want. I'm good with numbers. Choose that. Choose that. You know, you I'm good with money. I'm lucky. Like this is another, I always find parking spots. And I always say that, and I always find it. Like choose, decide. I'm disciplined. Tony told me as well on the intervention we had that he still even has these things that are on his mind and can bring him down, but he decides who he wants to show up as every day. Like, aren't you guys like impressed by how like he has a lot of money, a lot of companies, but why he has so much passion in what he does, right? He doesn't need the money. He doesn't need to work like this hard. 5 days like Day to Destiny is hard. Like as an attendee is hard. Imagine the person who's delivering it. It's like super. Why does he do that? Because he decides, because he has this identity. He created this identity inside of him of a person who wants to get things done, who wants to show up and make it happen. Remember, if you walked on fire, if you're a fireworker, or if you've done anything in your life that was once impossible, just remember that identity, remember that person. You can make it happen. So it's us choosing, because all of these exist. Feeling I'm not organized, I have so many things, I have this, I have that, like I just feel like bombarded with all of the things I have to do. All of these are there anyways, but we get to choose who we want to show up as and what we want to focus on and go one by one and get stuff done. Get stuff done. So we talked about this on Monday. You need to focus on things that are important and urgent and important and not urgent. Don't focus on the things that are not important and urgent or not important and not urgent. So pay attention and don't assume things are important just because they're urgent or they feel good. If somebody is messaging you, texting you, you're answering them, that's not important. Your whatever is in alignment with your goals, whatever goals you set to achieve, let's say this week, this month, everything you do, you have to check it with that first. Is this in alignment with this? If yes, okay, I prioritize it. If no, it's not the time to do that. We waste a lot of time on non-important stuff and we label them as important just because we want to feel significant. I have to follow up with 10 people. Open your contact. Don't go to Instagram. Open your contact list or open your prospect list, which is something that Mohabbat is going to talk about next week, I think. So go through your prospect list, contact 10 people, and don't think they're just sitting waiting there for you to contact them to answer. They're not. A lot of them are gonna ignore you. Who cares? That's why you contact 10, and then if nobody answered, you contact the next 10 until people answer. People get back to you, you follow up, and then don't worry about, oh, what if I don't have time to do all the work? It's okay. You create a wait list. You tell people, okay, next availability is January, next availability is February. It's absolutely okay. Don't worry. If they need to go, let them go. It's okay. They're not going to go anywhere because, they're also, most people are lazy in taking action. We're the same. We all are the same, but we are the ones who decide to take action. So we don't let, life take us wherever it wants. We decide how we want to show up. We decide what we're going to do, and that's how we get the results we want.